Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. Friday at Jerez is usually a measured affair, but for Álex Márquez it turned into a roller coaster of highs and lows. Two heavy crashes in free practice threatened to derail his weekend, yet the Gresini rider dug deep, rediscovered his pace, and punched his ticket to Q2. Ahead of Saturday's crucial sessions, Álex laid bare the lessons he's learned about confidence, limits, and the relentless hunt for consistency. MotoGP's return to European soil at Jerez threw Marc Marquez a curveball on Friday, as the narrow, stop-and-go layout demanded a fresh approach after the wide-open Qatar circuits. The Ducati star experimented with setups across both free practice sessions, ultimately slotting into fourth in FP2, just a quarter-second shy of his brother Álex, who topped the timesheets and now heads the favorite list for the weekend. After topping the Jerez podium 3 years running, Marquez Bagnaia arrived in Andalusia under the bright Spanish sun, determined to defend his streak. Although he hadn't yet rediscovered the ultra-precise GP24 braking feel in free practice, the three-time world champion laid down the fastest second-place time on Friday, signaling that the GP25's raw pace and his own racecraft remain potent weapons, especially with Monday's collective tests looming. Friday at Jerez proved a roller coaster for monster Yamaha's Fabio Quartararo. After a podium-setting FP1, a high-speed crash in FP2 seemed to derail his momentum, only for the 2021 world champion to regroup and post a 1:36.419s on his final lap, sealing direct entry into Q2. With front-end confidence back and top 5 pace intact, Quartararo has sent a clear warning to the Ducati brigade, even as he treads carefully ahead of Sunday's race. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. The day began with promise but quickly spiraled when Álex overstepped on 2 separate laps, sliding off into the gravel both times. Despite emerging relatively unscathed, the Spaniard admitted the crashes stemmed from a dangerous cocktail of overconfidence and misjudged braking points on Jerez's technical corners. The crashes came from not seeing the limits and being overconfident, Álex Márquez said. Rather than let frustration set in, Marquez refocused during a planned 40-minute pit pause, preserving tires and clearing his mind. With fresh rubber and renewed determination, he delivered a blistering lap in the closing minutes, enough to vault him straight into Q2 and silence any doubts. "I said I had to be in Q2 no matter what. We did well, so I'm happy about that." What makes Álex's recovery all the more impressive is that he felt strong on the Desma set-aside despite the earlier spills. He revealed that even after a high-speed impact he managed a 1 foot 36.8 inches, proof that his rhythm remains intact when he respects the bike's boundaries. "I crashed twice today, but I felt really good on the bike. That gives you peace of mind." A surprise encounter with Marc on track offered Álex a masterclass in Jerez's trickiest sectors. He shadowed his 8-time champion sibling through the fast left-handers and heavy braking turns, only to realize he'd underestimated the precision required. "There are 3 or 4 corners where he makes a big difference. I failed to calculate those speeds and that's why I crashed." Reflecting on the day, Álex stressed that raw motivation isn't enough. He needs to temper aggression with patience. Though the abrasions from his tumbles still sting, he's determined not to let Friday's errors follow him into the weekend's crucial races. "I'm not angry. It was a mistake of overconfidence. We need to be calmer and learn from our mistakes." As the sun sets on Jerez, Álex Márquez stands at a crossroads, armed with invaluable insights, but acutely aware of how fine the margin for error remains. Saturday's practice and qualifying will reveal whether he's mastered the art of controlled aggression, or if another lesson awaits on the unforgiving Andalusian tarmac. Jerez's tight sequence of heavy braking hairpins and quick direction changes contrasted sharply with the flowing sweepers of Qatar. Marc devoted FP1 to testing suspension settings, ride height, and traction control maps to tame front-end chatter. As track temperatures rose, he wrestled the GP25 into compliance, learning that throttle roll-on must be more measured here than in the desert. As I expected, we arrive in Europe and the feeling changes. Tracks are narrower, it's more of a stop and go. We come from Qatar where you maintain speed. Here you have to open the throttle more smoothly and adapt the setup to these conditions. Marc Marquez statement. FP1's initial chassis choice proved too soft under acceleration, so the team stiffened rear settings and tweaked anti-wheelie parameters overnight. In FP2, Marquez's lap time steadily improved, culminating in a 1-foot 37.042 inches that secured P4. His late session run through the technical middle sector confirmed the bike was finally balanced. I think we took a bit of a wrong path in FP1, but towards the end of FP2 I found the right direction and I felt a bit better. Tomorrow we'll see if we can continue on that path and improve. Midway through FP2, Marc detected a slight clutch hesitation. Instead of pushing on, he opted to pit and let engineers verify no serious issue. Once reassured, he resumed on his backup bike, delivering clean, competitive sectors without overextending. This cautious choice underscores his post-injury evolution, data-driven decisions over blind persistence. There was nothing seriously wrong, but 10 years ago I would have continued. Now I prefer to stop, check it out, and then go back out when everything's perfect. Álex Márquez set the pace in FP2 despite a high side that bruised his wrist and shredded a rear tire. He remounted and immediately lapped fastest, braking deeper and rolling on the throttle earlier than anyone. Marc praised the resolve but cautioned that such aggression leaves little margin for error. Alex's fastest time came right where he crashed. That shows he's in great shape and full of confidence, but I checked the data. He's definitely taking risks. With FP3 at 9:55 and Q2 to follow in the midday heat, tire selection and stint planning become critical. Early simulations suggest a medium front with a soft rear offers peak pace, but may degrade over race distance. Marc's focus is clear: convert FP2 gains into consistent laps that lock him into Q2 and set up a strong grid position. We've found the right direction. Now it's about being consistent and pushing only where it counts. Concluded. As Jerez resets for Saturday, Marc Marquez balances experimentation with execution. Will the GP25's newfound stability translate into qualifying speed, or will Alex's all-out style keep the elder brother chasing? The Andalusian tarmac will soon reveal the answer. For the second straight Friday, Bagnaia demonstrated he can immediately find rhythm on his dead GP25. In FP1 and FP2 he explored both fresh and used tire runs on the new medium and soft compounds, and in each case delivered competitive sector times that placed him firmly in the top 3. While the outright fastest lap belonged to Álex Márquez, Bagnaia's consistency and control showed that he has already adapted to the bike's fundamental characteristics. It's the second Friday in a row where I've been able to feel good and I'm happy. In the end, the bike is the same as in Qatar and the same in Austin, Francesco Bagnaia said by Motorsport. Despite speed elsewhere, Bagnaia admitted he still misses the razor-sharp front-end confidence of last year's GP24. Corners 5 and 9, where he once bled off speed with surgical precision, now demand a fresher set of brakes and a different entry technique. He plans to dedicate Monday's test session entirely to restoring that delicate balance, so he can attack heavy braking zones with the aggressiveness he used to. I'm no longer looking for the feeling I had last year, because we're not finding it at the moment, so we'll focus on this in Monday's test. Bagnaia is keenly aware that the GP25 offers other advantages: stability under power, and better tire life over a stint. He pointed out that, brake feeling aside, both qualifying runs and time attack laps came out well, whether on new rubber or after multiple laps. That turning point in Qatar, where he recovered from 11th to 2nd, underlines his faith that the package can mount a podium challenge even when one aspect isn't perfect. But for the rest I'm quite happy, because despite the feeling not being 100%, I managed to be fast both with the new tires and with the used tires, and with both compounds. In a show of solidarity, Bagnaia and Franco Morbidelli ran together in the first afternoon attack, mirroring the Marquez brothers' synergy earlier in the week. Bagnaia welcomed the opportunity. Slipstreaming with machinery of similar pace helps sharpen his lines, and he hopes that this collaborative tactic can become a regular feature as the championship fight heats up. Actually, we went out at the same time. I like to be in front so I can be more incisive, but I'm happy we were all three inside for that first run. Always the perfectionist, Bagnaia also trialed the new generation tail fairing and a smaller fuel tank in view of Sunday's sprint. The high-speed tail promises extra stability under braking, yet may upset mid-corner balance, just as the smaller tank can alter the bike's center of gravity when surrounded by rivals. Both will be evaluated again Saturday to determine the optimal configuration for race day. Tomorrow we'll see whether to continue using the tail fairing or not. We're still in a phase where we're trying out some things, Bagnaia concluded. As Bagnaia turns his attention to FP3 and Q2, his Jerez pace looks more than capable of pushing for another win, provided he can reconcile brake feel with the GP25's strengths. With Monday's testing window offering a crucial chance to refine his entry technique, the Italian's outlook remains bullish. The podium is in his sights, and top 3 contention is well within reach. Quartararo led the way in FP2 before a spill at turn 13 saw him lose 0.3 and slip to P10. Rather than panic, he rejoined on fresh rubber and, after a yellow flag interruption, unleashed his best lap in the closing 2 minutes, good enough for P5 and a coveted Q2 berth. Fabio is clearly strong this weekend, and it especially showed during the practice session, which he led for a long time. Quote from Massimo Marigali. Even amid the crash, Quartararo insisted his Monster Energy Yamaha YZR-M1 felt planted on the front tire, an encouraging sign after early season struggles with grip. He credits that solidity for allowing him to attack again when it mattered most. I have confidence, especially on the front, the feeling is incredible. But when you push too much, you find the limit, like in the last corner, Fabio Quartararo said. As the top non-Ducati speed threat in Jerez's night race sprint, Quartararo eyes a strong Saturday showing to set up his championship challenge. Yet he remains cautious about tire life under the afternoon sun and the cluster of Moto2 riders crossing the track before Sunday. Today we were fast, but we need to understand why we sometimes lose so much grip on a Sunday, after the Moto2 race. Teammate Álex Rins fared less well. Despite a top 10 FP1, yellow flags in FP2 stifled his runs and left him P15, mandating a Q1 fight. I decided to ride behind Fabio during my first time attack, but I went wide straight away. In the fast corners we are similar, but there's room for improvement under hard braking, Álex Rins added. With FP3 on Saturday morning and qualifying under the Jerez sun, Yamaha's focus will be tire choice and fine-tuning electronics for braking stability. Quartararo and Rins know that immediate gains can springboard them into front-row contention, and perhaps one more leap towards Sunday's podium. As the paddock prepares for FP3 and qualifying, all eyes are on Quartararo's battle for front-row supremacy and Rins's bid to claw through Q1. If Friday's highs and lows are any guide, Jerez promises edge-of-the-seat drama right through the sprint and into Sunday's main event. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!